Hello, my friend. I hope you're doing super amazing. This is Heather. This is another Wednesday edition. So, this is basically the contents of my head. And this week I was thinking about goals. And somehow Shakespeare got mixed in there. So, it's to goal or not to goal. And the pros and cons of goal setting and why I still think you should. Have a listen. Let me know what you think. And heck, let me know what your goals are. Have an amazing day. Take care. See you soon. Hi, my friends. Welcome. This is the Back to Me podcast, and this is Heather, and I am super excited that you're here. You are going to hear some tips and some tricks and some ideas to help you live your happiest and healthiest self. I call it Back to Me because when you are taking care of yourself, back to me, then you can take better care of others, and we can all make the world a better place. This is Wellness Your Way, and I am super happy that you're here. Hello, my friend. How are you doing? It's Wednesday already. Can you believe it? It's time for the Wednesday edition of the Back to Me podcast. And the Wednesday edition is always super fun because I just come on. Well, it's super fun. They're all super fun for me, I guess. I come on and tell you what I've been thinking about. So the title of this week was To Goal or Not to Goal. And yes, I am a big fan of Shakespeare. Okay, I admit it. I don't know why I'm especially attracted to Shakespeare, but it's all good. He talks a lot about the human condition and why looks at humans doing things humans do, and it's just super interesting. So, but that's not what this is about. It's not about Shakespeare. This is about goals, 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 goals. So you know that I read and I listen to a lot of things and I talk to a lot of people, and you always hear, oh, you have to set goals, or I've heard recently not to set goals. And I thought, oh, that's an interesting thing. And I can see many reasons on both sides. So imagine that I have two stories. So, well, I probably have more than that. So sometimes goals, I can remember when I was working, I lived in Nova Scotia at the time. And one of the gentlemen who was a vice president, I was talking to another person who told me that he had his 5-year plan. When I first started working and everyone asked me what my 5-year plan, I was like, I can't even think 5 days ahead. How can I think 5 years ahead? But I think it's just partly how people's brains are different. So this individual had a 5-year plan, and she made a comment that kind of struck me, that he's never living in today. He's living 5 years ahead. And my thought was, but if he's not living today, then you're not living. Essentially, if you're always in that forward place, that forward planning ahead place, how does he live? Now, I'm sure that wasn't entirely, so black and white as that he didn't ever pay any attention to what was going on in the present. But that was an early impression in my working career of, oh, maybe I don't like planning 5 years ahead. But on the other hand, planning ahead can help you ensure that you don't end up in the same place or end up somewhere you don't want to be. Right? There's two sides, as most of life. There are multiple facets to everything. So goals can be rigid and unyielding, and we can get stuck in goals. We can get stuck if we don't have goals because we haven't planned to be anywhere, but you can also get stuck in a goal. So there was a story of a book called The Right Mountain. I can't remember the name of the author, but he was talking about how he and his son were going to climb Mount Everest. And the first attempt, his son got quite ill and had to be taken down. and couldn't go up again. So he said, it's still our goal. And he was going to go do it. So he went, and then he got quite ill. Altitude is a hard thing, right? I've been there. It can really knock you down. And he got quite ill and came down. And then, having the ability to have an awareness to press pause on that goal and check in with it now and again. So yes, I do think it's good to set goals, by the way. I do think it's good to set goals, but give yourself some freedom to press pause on that goal and check in with yourself on a regular basis to see, are you just slamming yourself into that wall because you've set a goal to knock that wall down? But it's not going to move, and maybe you don't really need it to move, and maybe you could actually go around it and go somewhere else. It's something to consider. Also, having a goal can give you some consistency to your actions. So being consistent is actually almost more important than knowing where your ultimate destination will be. So I can have an idea that, let's just use 5 years because it's this number people throw around. In 5 years, I'm going to be the most famous coach on the planet. First of all, is that realistic? Hell yes, it's realistic. No, I'm kidding. It could be, who knows? But I wouldn't be able to get there if I wasn't consistent in my actions towards moving to that goal, right? So consistency towards your destination. Now, another story for you. And also, I'm terrible with names, apparently. I lost my name storage device somewhere in the back of my brain. The name storage is locked and I can't get it. But it was a story of people trying to reach, I believe it was the North Pole. One group of people, they both had the goal to reach North Pole. One group of people said, we're going to walk as far as we can on any given day. And on the days we can't walk, we're not going to walk. And then the other team said, we're going to walk this X number of kilometers, which was a reasonable number. Didn't seem very high. Seemed almost too easy. We're going to walk that number of kilometers every day, rain or shine, snow or no snow, sleet, hail, dark of night. So one group is like, we're going to walk as far as we can, as far as we can, as far as we can. Then when it's crappy weather, we're just going to hang out. And the other group said, it's like the tortoise and the hare, isn't it? Wow. Okay. So just blowing my own mind for a second there. And the group, believe it, yes, you know what I'm going to say. The group that was just consistent was the group that made it there first, because they just said, they just chipped away at it, just chipped away at it, just chipped away at it. And that was their goal, and they reached their goal, and they reached their goal without killing themselves, which is nice. I always have 2 rules in life. If you've never attended one of my yoga or Tai Chi yoga fusion type classes, then you don't know the rules. The first rule of life is you have to breathe. The second rule of life is don't cause yourself any extra pain if you can avoid it. So having a goal, I think about, I know I'm not good at setting a 5-year goal, but I think about the end game. So at the end of life, because we'll all get there eventually, at the end of life, what do I not want to say? I do not want to say, I wish I had done X. I'm definitely not going to say, oh, I wish I had worked more. but the work that I do, I don't consider really work. I'm not going to say, oh, I might say I wish I had jumped out of an airplane, but I don't think that will be something that I'll be worried about, really, jumping out of airplanes. But I don't want to say, I wish I had taken action towards fill in the blank. So I actually do this I'll do it at least twice a year, maybe 3 times a year, where I just pause. And this is the pausing on your goal setting and the pausing on your direction. I press pause and think, okay, this is where I am now. Is it where I planned to be? Some people do this quarterly. Quarterly is good. Maybe if I did it consistently. Let's add that to my contemplation list. I will resolve to examine quarterly my progress. This is where I want to be. This is where I am. Here are the things that I've done in between. Was I consistent? How can I be more consistent? Do I need to change direction? Is that still the goal that I want? What's my next step? Seems simple, doesn't it? Simple but not easy. Is that what they say? Yes. So here's my thoughts for goal setting. I think it is good. I personally think it is good to have a direction that you're heading. My coach, who's awesome, by the way, of course, I have a coach. If I'm going to tell you that coaching is amazing, I'm going to have a coach myself. My coach always uses the road trip analogy. So I want to go to Quebec City for a vacation. I might drive. I might not drive direct. I might say, well, I'm still going to go to Quebec, but I'm just going to pop over to this little detour, or, there might be road construction. So I might have to take a little detour that way. But ultimately, even if it's not a straight line, if I'm consistently headed towards the direction that I want, in theory, I should get there. Yeah, I think so. And when I get there, first we'll have a party, and then we will evaluate. It's not the end. You don't reach the end till you reach the end. So what's the next thing? If I hit my milestones are nice little mini goals that seem more achievable. If I hit my milestone, what's the next milestone? Is it still feeding my big goal? Is my big goal still my big goal? If you haven't done that yet, I invite you to sit down, think of a big goal. Sometimes people say to be realistic, but I think that we often sell ourselves short. So if you think your goal is realistic, multiply it by 2. And then I think that might be more realistic, unless you are good at pie in the sky dreaming. But set a goal for yourself and then double it. Just say even double it. And then see what happens from there. Of course, it depends what kind of goal it is, doesn't it? But make it bigger than you think it is. I remember when I was in corporate, they used to call it a stretch goal. Here's a realistic goal. Yeah, I could probably do this, but make it a little bit bigger so that it gives you some excitement towards achieving it. And it's something to feel really good about when you hit it. Set your little mini milestones if it's that kind of process where you need steps along the way, and start, because you don't want to get to the end and think, I didn't do XYZ, didn't do the things I wanted to do. That is my thought for you today, is to at least set yourself mini goals. It's just it's like when you start working out, start with little weights, start with little goals, and then slowly increase until you're like pumping the big iron, the big goals. Ease yourself into it. And if you don't know how, or you don't know where to start, or you just need to talk it out, of course, please send me a message, because I'd love to chat with you about it. I love meeting with all of my friends all the time. Send me an email. Had an awesome email the other day from someone who was talking about consistency, funny enough. So here it is, Casey. I'm being consistent. And as always, friends, stay healthy, stay well, have an amazing day. Before I forget, on the website is a new wellness quiz. So maybe you could go over there, go through the wellness quiz, because it will tell you what area of wellness you might want to start on if you don't know where to begin. Have an amazing day. Take care. See you soon next time. Hi, my friend. Thanks so much for listening to this entire podcast. If you found it useful and you're like me and you like helping others, please feel free to share this. Give it a like, give it a comment. If you found something useful in it, there's a chance that someone else will find something useful as well. Also, if you have any questions at all, I can absolutely help, and I would love to help. You can email me at heather@prosperityflowcoaching.com. If you want more of this awesome content, you can follow me on Instagram, Heather Stewart Coaching. You can follow me on Facebook, Prosperity Flow Coaching. And I have a personal request. I want to help as many people as I can with these podcasts. And if you could give me a review, hopefully a good one, if you could share, if you could send this out into the world, I would truly appreciate it. I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope that you find your way to wellness by getting back to me. Take care, my friend.